Alrighty. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And there's something that I want you to know. I want you to know that you are loved. I want you to know that you are light. I want you to know that you are God's beloved. There isn't a better kid in God's family than you. You are the best thing that has happened to being here on this earth. And Bobby is saying that God loves her more. Does anybody challenge that? Kathy says, no, it's me. It's me.
I'm the favorite child.
Anybody else the favorite offspring of spirit? Anybody else? Every last one of you. I guess that must be your personal relationship, because every time I go into my meditation and I go into my prayer, I hear that it's moi. So today's talk is about spiritually motivated moral leadership. And when you hear this term, you think about somebody else as being the leader, huh? We think about what we expect for our leaders to be, what they're to look like, how they're to act, what behavior they're supposed to display. We want them to model the behavior that we are supposed to follow. However, what I'd like to do is for you to consider something else, that you're the leader of your own life. You're the leader of your own soul. You are the leader in oneness with the infinite spirit of life. You're the leader in partnership, in total partnership with what your personal life is and what it's going to look like and be. You are that. So what does that look like for you? This is going to be really interesting because I'm getting an opportunity to teach on the Tao, something that I've not really done before. I've touched at it, but our inspiration is coming from the Tao Te Ching. Tao Te Ching. See if I'm getting the term correctly. Our perspective for today is that when we're looking at self-mastery, we're looking at the self. We have a little s and we have a big S. The big S self is our divine self. And when we look at the word mastery, we're looking at mastery in terms of the use we make of the creative substance of the infinite potential. Self-mastery relates to our divine connection to the source, which is God. And I want to let you know that when I use the term God, that's the language that I was raised with, and it's just so in me, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but I just want you to be clear. So when I say the term God and you say something else, please let your word come in that place. But we're talking about the same creator, the same infinite energy and presence. So the perspective that we're having from Ernest Holmes is that the human experience is a process in which the self is revealed to the self, and the self must raise the self by the self. Shall I say that again? Shall I do that again? I mean, that somebody said song, tongue twister. Let's look at this concept again. Ernest Holmes tells us that the human experience is a process in which the self is revealed to the self, and the self must raise the self by the self. Okay, so I think that means that, there is that divine relationship that we have with the infinite self of life that's connected to the Christ that is within our intuition. And that internal self of us raises the outer self, because that which is on the inside of us is what people see on the outside. Is that correct? Or is that a reasonable explanation? Okay, so when your outside self is in a little bit of turmoil, anxiety, pain, that means that there may need to be some raising of the inside self to another way of looking at a situation, being in a situation, dealing with the situation. And when that internal self grows to another level of awareness, then it will outpicture in your outer life. So when it comes to living a life where we're having this thing called self-mastery, I had to go to someone that I have experienced time and time again. And this is our former lover of good philosophy, and that was Dr. Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer. And remember, he wrote a beautiful book, Change Your Thought, Change Your Life, Living the Wisdom of the Tao. Do you recall that? It's really good, because in verse 33, he actually gives his personal interpretation of what verse 33 says. Now, the Tao was written by Lao Tzu. Thank you. We can all teach this. All right. That is ancient wisdom that has been carried from time to time to time, from eons, and it has blessed people everywhere. And there's so many different interpretations, and what I found that I'm liking about it is that it has been reinterpreted. The verses have been reinterpreted for the time where people are living, for that time. So here's verse 33 that Wayne Dyer interpreted. And it's specifically on living self-mastery. He writes, "One who understands others has knowledge. One who understands him or herself has wisdom. Mastering others requires force. Mastering the self needs strength. If you realize you have enough, you're truly rich. One who gives him or herself to position surely lives long, but one who gives him or herself to the Tao shall live forever." Breathe. Breathe. So what the writer of this scripture is talking about, not Wayne Dyer, but the originator, is asking us to change the way we look at the ideas of knowledge and power, and to evaluate your level of self-mastery by turning your gaze inward. Look into yourself, seeing your world, seeing your place in the world in a new and a different way. What would that look like? Ernest Holmes teaches us in The Science of Mind about seemingly opposites: left, right, north, south, good, bad, good, evil, those kinds of things. And in this particular teaching, where you may find yourself or think yourself to be on one end of that polarity, this teaching asks you, oh, really? Look at the other end. Consider yourself on the other end. So it helps us in a way to begin to have some kind of balance in our life. There's the full spectrum of what the seemingly opposites are, but I believe once you allow yourself to see yourself from both perspectives, from both ends, there comes a balance in your life. And when you see yourself in that perspective and you're with other people, you begin to not have as much judgment. you begin to ask yourself, not someone else, but ask yourself the question, what's going on with them today? Somebody would say, well, maybe we become a little bit more kinder and a little bit more generous instead of rapidly jumping to some kind of assumption or perspective or some kind of conclusion about the person. We began to say, what's going on with them today? And instead of placing that judgment on another person, we just hold them right where they are. But more importantly, we hold ourselves in that place of neutrality because we're seeing ourselves in another way. How about this? We're seeing ourselves as a beneficial presence in the universe, not harming anyone, but being there to be supportive, to be an ally, to be uplifting if that is what's needed. Self-mastery. How do we achieve this thing of self-mastery, especially from the perspective of the science of mind philosophy as well as new thought tenets, spiritual principles, rules, so to speak, that we apply to our life? Oh my, we're in pain. We're in anxiety. We are fit to be tied. Instead of allowing ourselves to wallow in that pain, it's a matter of acknowledging those feelings. Own them. Own them for what they are. They're your feelings. Don't rate them as good or bad, but just own up to, this is how I am in this moment. And if you need to just be with them for a while, but you don't continue to hang out there, because you must remember who you are in spirit. You must remember your divine nature. It is the spirit that brought us forward that says that here is a nature of goodness that is resident within you, not pain. Here's a nature of peace within you, not discord and chaos. Oh, but I love the chaos, because when we have the chaos, guess what immediately follows? Do I hear that C word? Do I hear another C word? That's CH? What? Did I hear? I thought I truly heard more than one person say it. Change. Anytime we have chaos, change comes. So we're finding that we need to allow some change to come into our life, and we can be the facilitator of that change. So how do we make ourselves a master of that? A master of that. Oh, yeah, I'd love to tell you, run to the principle, find the principle, or find the piece of affirmation that you really want to lean into to support your process now that Dr. Holmes says that we follow. When you find that, there's one other thing that you must do. Don't say your affirmation just once. How many times should you say that affirmation? Oh, hundreds. And what that thing is called, the repetitiveness of that thing is called practice. It's fine and well to know the word, but if you don't do the practice that goes along with it, the change will not come about, and you will have a friend that will meet you at the door named Chaos. I'm back again. I'm back again. So what we want to do in terms of having this chaos, these various things to flow into our life, we want to begin to focus in on how we can be better people. We want to focus in on understanding ourselves instead of blaming others and blaming other situations for the energy, for the feelings that we have. This is what we know about ourselves. Because we have this beautiful divine nature in us, there is no one that has authority over us that we don't give authority to do that to us. Oh, it's a matter of when someone says, I'm doing thus and so, and you obey, blah, da, da, da. You can easily say, yeah, well, you in what army? Because I have the infinite spirit of life that backs me up, that stands up behind me in all things. That I have a strength that is within me, that gives me the courage, that gives me the stamina, that gives me the ability to, even in moments when I don't know what to do, to just stand still and know that the very presence of spirit is right where I am. Self-mastery. Self-mastery. Sometimes standing still, doing nothing, is the best thing you could possibly do. But you don't blame others and give authority to others to run your life. Self is the best thing. Ooh. Oh, that was spirit calling, yes. So, just making sure that you are in that place of understanding how you can allow that self-mastery to come through you. Through you. Through you. It's not, I'm calling on spirit in prayer. Oh, God, do this for me. No, God moves to you, through you, from you, as you. So we can do it ourselves. We can do it ourselves. We can do it ourselves. Now, here's something that has always been a little thing for me. I can recall when I used to feel very arrogant when I first learned about this. It's okay to have arrogance until you get better. It's okay, because the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you smooth the rough edges that are around you growing in your self-mastery. How many of you have heard of the green growing edges of your life? Okay, do you know what that's all about? The green growing edges have to do with you moving from something that no longer serves you, when the chaos is coming about. For instance, in our physical world, you may have a job today and all of a sudden you realize, oops, I need to find another. So you're going to move from this place to someone else. Whether that physical move comes about as a result of your employer letting you go, or you making a decision. But we allow something new to come into our lives. I was reading this wonderful blog that Mark Gilbert wrote, and he talked about the green growing edge. And he talked about work that was done by one of the people that he loves to read, and this was David Gershon, who wrote the book Social Change 2.0. And he wrote this book with the objective to outline a model of instituting positive social change on the planet. And basically what he did, he looked at the evolution of human beings into new areas of change by exploring the multi-billion year evolutionary experience of our planet and what it could tell us. And what he saw was that the natural world offered a model for looking at continuous growth, because this is what self-mastery does for us. It allows us to continually grow. And he called that model the green growing edge. So let me read what Gershon said. He said, if something is alive, it is always growing. There is always the next shoot, bud, or growing edge. A tree is a good example. So if you look at the shoots on a branch that are coming into existence, this is where the tree is most vital. It is where the tree's life force is the strongest. It is where there is the greatest degree of aliveness. It's in that newness. These green growing edges have very distinct properties. They're fragile and vulnerable, without any bark protecting them from the elements. They are soft and have the green color of new life. They are unique to that branch of the tree, and while all trees share the same process of growth, each branch looks different on the unique circumstances and stages of its growth. Now, here's the other thing that we need to know about the green growing edges. There is no right green growing edge for a tree. In other words, there is no one way. There is no one way. We're all individuals, all love divine. We all grow in a way that is specific, unique, and designed for us. There certainly is no way to say one growing edge is better than another, or one branch should be like another branch. The only meaningful criteria in this is the quality of the tree's aliveness. If a tree is fully alive, it is always growing and has many growing edges. If there are no growing edges coming into existence, then the tree is atrophying and moving toward death. Do we know what atrophying is? You're wasting away. You're declining. You will not be here, because with the continuing of declining, there is the death. So I like this concept. I really like this concept. And I know we're using the example of a tree, but for just these few little moments, consider yourself the tree. Consider yourself being that one where something new, some aliveness is coming about in you, and you're sprouting new branches of growth. And for that newness to be there, it will require on your part to do something different, to become a master of what needs to be changed within you to allow that something new to come about. It will. I have long known about my love for music. I've sang in choirs. I really enjoy it. I become frustrated because I don't play the piano. And I am a conscious thinking individual. Do you know it's not that hard to go and get a music lesson and start playing the piano? What? No. It's not. That's available. That's available. But it's more than that. We have to look at ourselves. We have to look within. We have to ask the questions. Why won't you take the next step to move into that? Why is the resistance there? And you know what? There could be no real reason for a resistance to something that you want to do, other than you just need to get yourself out of the way and do it. Green growing edge. The expansiveness of thought, the expansiveness of what we would like to do. You have your own specific thing. I've got mine. That's one for me. And I still love to sing. So I find myself being involved in music in some kind of way. But I'm not playing the piano. Oh, I think I have the answer. Thank you, Spirit. And I'm not telling you because that make my daddy look bad. But I love my parent. But anyhow, these are the things that I would like for you to consider when you're thinking about your becoming more of a self-mastering person. I want you to also consider that you cultivate your desire for others to discover the Tao in their lives. How often do we share the goodness about ourselves and tell people how we got there? How often do we tell someone, this is what I did, and this is why I did it, and how? See, the Tao has various names, meanings for us. The first time I saw the term the Tao, I learned it meant the way. Ernest Holmes says the Tao is the spirit. And reading the book, The Tao of Leadership, the term is how. The Tao tells you how something is done. So we go into meditation, which is basically the foundation of connection with the infinite spirit. It is the foundation. You can't get around it. So please learn to meditate, even if it's for a minute, grow to 2 minutes, and so on and so on. But we have to allow ourselves to begin to just connect such with the spirit of who we are that we're able to just share that. Share it. Do you recall Flip Wilson, comedian Flip Wilson? Do you recall Flip Wilson had a character, and that character's name was? Geraldine. And what did Geraldine say?
The devil made me buy this dress.
The devil made me do it. Well, she always blamed somebody else for the stuff that was happening. But here, with learning about having self-mastery in the Tao, we're talking about learning to take self-control, to have self-regulation in our life. We control those things that happen in our lives, and we can share that with others. We can teach one another easily and effortlessly. We can do that. We can do that. So, I know this is coming up short in terms of the time to speak, but this is where Spirit is leading me. Who can you share this information with? What are you willing to share with someone to assist them, to help them? You're not putting yourself in the place of a counselor. You're not putting yourself in the place of a therapist. You're just putting yourself in the place of, I can help you. Let me share my experiences. One of the things that Tracy Brown shared with us when she was here a week or so ago, she said one of the things we can do to be good to one another, instead of putting some of the barriers and stuff up, we just ask simple questions of one another. How was your life? Tell me about growing up. What was your family life like? Just get to know people. And when we get to know people, we're opening the door. I'm opening up in sweet surrender. We're opening the door to further connection. The Tao is about connection. It's about us connecting with ourselves, with the Divine One, and with one another. That connection comes about. That is the leadership for eliminating this thing called the other, because there are no others here. There's only one. Your love, your light, you're the best thing that God put on this earth. You are love right where you are. And when you look around this room, that love is emanating out of the face, out of the cells, tissue, and fiber of everybody's body. There isn't any reason why you can walk out of this room and not feel love, because you are love incarnate. What is the mastery we're going for today? What is the mastery that is here with us today? That self-mastery is knowing I am love. Right where I am. Just as I am. Oh, no, there is no wart. Just as I am. We can easily do it. Easily do it. It's not hard. It's a hard thing. Connecting one to another. I am love. And I'm I'm dedicating this service to Reverend Linda Anson. Blessing her heart right where she is, knowing that all of the love that we are experiencing that is emanating in this room is going directly to where she is. Linda is CSLP. Linda is each one of us, and we are Linda. So we accept that love. We accept this grace. I invite you to go within with me now. In this day, I give grateful thanks in recognizing, knowing that there is a power, a presence that is here right now. And it is in this creation of life that I live, move, and have my very being. As such, I am one with God. I am one with the infinite spirit of life. And in this recognition, I speak this word of knowing that our community is already perfect, whole, and complete in the very mind of God. That this community is open and receptive to thriving and going and being the recipients of anyone who chooses to abide here to experience the knowing, the experience of this love. I give grateful thanks in knowing that there is a divine pattern to every person. It's perfect God, perfect person, perfect being. That there is a pattern of divine wholeness, of wholeness that stands behind that individual, whether the activity is work, health, perfect relationships, time and talent, just to live life. Because we know that we live in an abundant universe. And in this abundant universe, there are many things for us to do, many things for us to experience, many things, mountains for us to climb, many, many things for us to express in our life. Because in the expression of these, God lives. God lives. We show the goodness and the magnificence and the capability, the ability of God. And so right where we are, as we stand in this place of awareness, we know that we live in a consciousness of infinite possibilities. So for our center and for each one here, including our live love streamers, the infinite possibilities exist in our lives in this very moment. I invite you to pick one. Breathe it in. Accept that it is yours. Allow that which may be a green growing edge for yourself to be that place where you choose to move through the process for self-mastery, to allow that good to be made manifest in you, where you become the Word made flesh for that particular thing. We accept that God is good. The eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, the eternal givingness of life to all. And for this, we're truly grateful. We're truly thankful. I release this word into the law, allowing it to be so. Please join me in closing. And so it is.
That was wonderful. So this is a song, I did not write this. This is by Nelly Furtado, but I rewrote the verses for today. It's called Spirit Indestructible. I am safe and centered here in the Tao. I am standing with my feet on solid ground. In the silence I can hear spirit sound, awakening me to my passion. I have a spirit indestructible, a heart that love was made for, a body that's a miracle. indestructible, a heart that was made pure, unbreakable, and that's for sure, unshakable, so give me more. I'm resisting nothing, honoring my path. I'm releasing fear and healing from the past. There's a sacred gift inside adversity. I surrender to the journey. I have a spirit indestructible, a heart that love was made for, a body that's a miracle. I have a spirit indestructible, a heart that was made pure, unbreakable, and that's for sure, unshakable, so give me more. I am love, I am loved, I let love in, I let love in. I am strong, I am one with the one. I am loved, oh I am loved, I let love in, I let love in. I am strong, I am one with the one, and I have a spirit indestructible, a heart that love was made for, a body that's a miracle. I have a spirit indestructible, a heart that was made pure, unbreakable, and that's for sure, unshakable, so